Holding creatures terrifying than anyone can imagine?
Astagfirullahaladzim. Ini makhluk apa lu, teman-teman?
Swamps are now a hub for creepy encounters.
Holy what the hell is that?
From giant, unbelievable beasts to mythical beings. Hang on to watch bizarre, never-before-seen swamp moments that shocked the whole world.
Oh yeah.
A group of friends were on a road trip when they spotted something on the way that left them shocked. The body of a creepy creature, lifeless, was lying in the mud by the roadside. It was so creepy that it didn't resemble any normal animal. It looked like a character straight out of a sci-fi movie. When they observed it closely, they noticed a stamp on it, which made it clear that it was the result of some scientific experiment. It's truly sad to see how authorities treat them when they're no longer useful. Hantu Benu. A quiet evening on Musi River turned terrifying for a fisherman when he spotted something unusual. At first, he thought it was floating debris, but then he saw thick, dark hair covering the creature. His heart raced as old tales of Hantu Benu, the river ghost, flashed through his mind. The eerie figure floated closer, making its presence even more haunting. Choosing safety over curiosity, he kept his distance but filmed the moment. Thanks to his bravery, we now have proof that legends can come alive. Mud monster.
What is that, Mom? Ma, you see this?
No.
Sometimes, nature has a way of surprising us in the strangest ways. A man was heading to explore the woods when, suddenly, he saw something moving in the mud. Out of curiosity, when he got closer to the mud, he was completely shocked. A dark, creepy creature whose body resembled a huge snail was there.
Holy what the hell is that?
What is happening?
It looked as if it could be some kind of mud monster. He observed it for a while and then decided it was better to leave. Chicken lover beast. Late one night, a group of friends decided to try their luck fishing at a quiet, moonlit lake. Everything was calm until one of them spotted something odd, a pale hand slowly rising from the water. At first, they thought it was a joke, but that hand moved, stretching toward their boat. Creeped out but curious, they tied a piece of chicken as bait and tossed it in. They held their breath, waiting. Then, the water erupted. A creature with a pale, ghostly face and long, bony hands grabbed the bait and disappeared. The group sat frozen, stunned by what they had just seen. That night, their fishing trip became a story they would retell forever, one of a lake monster nobody could explain. Humanoid tick. A man in Dallas, Texas, was setting up his equipment for camping in the woods. He needed some logs, so he went looking for them. But what he found was something he had never expected. Right in front of him was a huge tick, and it had a human baby's face. He was terribly frightened upon seeing it, but then he noticed it wasn't moving and was probably no longer alive. He felt it was definitely the result of some creepy scientific experiment. He observed it for a while and then left the site. Mythical being. A group of experts were exploring in the woods when one of them noticed something unusual in the nearby swamp. He took his tool and went over there. At first, he thought it was a big fish, but when he looked closely, he was shocked. It was a mythical being, like a baby mermaid, trying to hide and escape from him. He tried hard to catch it, but it successfully managed to escape and get away. Giant lobster. A man came to the river for fishing, but at a distance there was a swamp that caught his attention with something unusual. When he got closer and looked, he was shocked because there was a lobster, something he never expected to see there. The surprising thing was that it was unusually large and looked quite old. He had no idea how it ended up there, but after observing it for a while, he decided it was best to leave. Rarest being. An expert and his crew went on an adventure in the swamps of Florida. They were exploring the area when they came across a creature that seemed to resemble an eel at first. But what made it strange was that this creature could walk. Upon closer inspection, they realized it was actually a salamander called the Amphiuma. This was quite fascinating, not just because it looked unusual, but because it has one of the largest amounts of DNA found in any living creature, around 25 times more than humans. The Amphiuma is known for its unique ability to move across land, despite living in the swampy waters. It's a rare and elusive creature, adding an air of mystery to the swamps of Florida. Hunched creature. Deep in a dense forest, a man was just minding his own business when something strange caught his eye. He saw a small creature hunched over, carrying a bundle of sticks on its back like a backpack. That's not all, but it was trying to hide behind a tree, clearly unaware that it was being watched. The man held his breath, not daring to move. Later, when he reviewed the footage, his heart raced. Was that a goblin he'd seen? The fact that he got out safely with proof? That's pure luck right there. Mermaid skeleton. Swamps have a way of surprising you when you least expect it, and this guy found out the hard way. He was just exploring the lake, minding his business, when something caught his eye. Hidden under a rock, he spotted what looked like a skeleton.
Oh yeah.
A mermaid skeleton, to be exact. At first, he thought it was just some random object, but as he got closer and touched it, chills ran down his spine. Without a second thought, he tossed it back and quickly left. Now the question is, could it really be a mermaid skeleton? Watching this footage, I'm starting to believe it. Alienoid. After mermaids, now it looks like aliens are making swamps and lakes their homes too. While fishing, a group of fishermen thought they had a big catch on their hands. But guys, this wasn't just any catch. Take a look at what they saw. An alien-like figure was lurking in the water. Yes, it was an actual alien. It stared back at them for a moment, but as soon as it realized they were humans, it quickly disappeared into the depths, never to be seen again. The fisherman knew what he had witnessed, and now he has a wild story he'll be telling for the rest of his life. Wrong call. Terrifying is the only word that can explain this encounter. A boy sitting alone in his garden didn't know he had a companion. It was not until after midnight that mysterious figure, all covered in white cloth, emerged from the ground. It looked feminine, but who am I to say? The figure grabbed the boy from his lower leg and tried to take him with it. But the boy didn't give up easily, and I am hoping that he got rid of the mysterious figure. What do you think? Scary encounter. In a small town in Indonesia, strange noises were often heard coming from the woods. Because of this, no one would go near the woods at night, but one man decided he would go and check it out. At first, he didn't find anything unusual, but then he felt a strange presence behind the trees. As soon as he looked closely, you wouldn't believe it. There were two scary creatures that looked like they could belong to another world, almost like a tribe from a different realm. One had big ears, and the other had a long beard, and the man had no idea how or why they were here. The man immediately ran away in fear, and never went back there again. Swampy surprise. Swamp sure knows how to surprise you. A guy was out boating in the swamp, just enjoying the day when he noticed some strange ripples in the water. At first, he figured it was just a fish, nothing too crazy. But then, out of nowhere, this massive serpent surfaced. It wasn't a fish. It was an anaconda. Thankfully, the snake didn't seem interested in him and just swam away. But man, if it had decided to come after him, well, let's just say it wouldn't have ended well. Secret hideout. Seems like swamps are becoming the new secret hideouts for anacondas. While exploring the Amazon in search of its legendary giants, an adventurer stumbled upon an unforgettable encounter. Standing on the riverbank, he noticed a massive disturbance in the water. Grabbing his camera, he followed the commotion until he finally spotted it, an anaconda resting in the shallows. His instincts were spot on. Seriously, what a terrifying and thrilling moment to witness one of nature's most powerful predators up close. Creepy moment. A group of friends got quite deep into the woods while exploring. When they were about to head back, they noticed something unusual at a distance. At first, they thought someone had made a campfire here, but when they got closer, they were stunned. A strange trunk-like thing was there. And creepy, worm-like creatures were coming out of it. The scariest thing was the red liquid, and there were 2 containers that made it seem like some satanic activity had been performed here. They didn't stay long and left from there. I guess what they thought was probably true. Lake giant. A man came to a lake in Canada for fishing, but he noticed something there that shocked him. A big giant tail that looked like it could belong to a lake monster. Seeing this, he didn't fish there and recorded the whole scene, sharing it online. After that, people gave various opinions about it. Some believed it was a glimpse of the famous Loch Ness monster, which had been living in the lake for hundreds of years, while others thought it was a beluga sturgeon, which is usually found there. Creepy web. While searching for a new fishing spot, a man was told that at the end of the deep woods, there was a small river where fishing might be great. After a long travel, he reached the river, but there was a problem. By the river's edge, there was a swamp with plants, and on those plants, a large net was draped, covered with hundreds of spiders. It looked so scary that fishing there seemed nearly impossible. His long journey didn't seem worth it, and he decided to head back. I guess next time, he won't travel such a long distance based on someone's suggestion. Marine ghost. In Indonesia, there was a swamp known for being home to mermaids, or at least that's what the rumors said. No one had ever found proof, so a group of curious explorers decided to investigate for themselves.
Belum kelihatan sama sekali. Belum. Kita muter.
They spent 3 long days waiting, but saw nothing until the 3rd night. That's when they spotted something strange in the distance. It was still, almost as if it was waiting for them. They got closer, convinced it was the ghost of a mermaid. One of them even managed to catch it, but then the video abruptly cut out. No one knows what happened next. Now, I don't know about you guys, but after that, I think I'll be keeping my distance from swamps. Bermuda in swamp. Move over, Bermuda Triangle. There's a new mystery in town, and it's just as jaw-dropping. In 2020, Kenya witnessed something straight out of a disaster movie when not 1 but 2 massive sinkholes suddenly appeared. These giants were so enormous, they swallowed everything in their path, leaving everyone stunned. The cause? Turns out the limestone beneath this swamp was eroding faster than anyone expected, creating these colossal sinkholes. Nature, once again, proved it has more surprises than we can ever imagine. Swamp creepster. An Indonesian swamp near a quiet village had a reputation for hosting creepsters, with locals swearing they had seen ghostly figures lurking there. One evening, a couple of farmers returning home came across something crawling near the swamp. The creature was unlike anything they had seen before.
Astagfirullahaladzim. Ini makhluk apa lu, teman-teman?
Its limbs bent unnaturally backward, and its body was curved in a way that didn't seem human. As it flexed its arms and slowly crept toward them, the men froze in terror. Then, the video cuts off abruptly. Did they escape? Or, well, who knows? Rising monster. Back in 2017, a YouTube video sent chills down everyone's spine and made muddy swamps a no-go zone. The video showed a guy standing near a muddy pool when something downright creepy emerged. It had no head, no facial features, just a bizarre, shapeless form rising from the mud. The sight lasted only a moment before the creature sank back into the murky depths, leaving the guy and everyone watching speechless. Honestly, it looked like a mud monster to me, and lucky for him, he caught it on camera before it vanished. Unexpected catch.
He's right here. He's right here. Look. That's gotta be him. Yeah.
A group of experts were searching for a rare snake, but after a long search, what they found was totally unexpected. A swamp eel. It can live in muddy, shallow waters and is known for its ability to breathe air, which allows it to survive in low-oxygen environments. A swamp eel can also move over land if necessary, making it well-suited to swampy conditions. They observed it for a while and caught it in their net, but then decided not to take it with them and released it back. I would say that was a kind act.
What a weird creature, dude. Ugh, it's so cool.
Giant croc. A group of experts received information that a huge crocodile was living near a river in a small town in Brazil. To confirm this, they arrived with their team and started trying to capture the giant crocodile. After a long struggle, when they finally caught it, they were shocked. It was much larger than they had expected and over 100 years old. They carefully placed it on their boat and took it with them for further observation. However, it was never seen again after that day. Strange creature. In Texas, a man was passing by a swamp when he noticed strange movement in the woods. He thought it might be an animal, but the reality was quite the opposite. A strange crocodile-like creature came out and quickly went into the swamp. Luckily, he managed to record this moment and shared it online, after which people gave different opinions about it. Some believed it was a swamp monster searching for food in the woods, while others thought it was just a crocodile with missing front legs. Giants prove.
We've just discovered evidence of the Florida skunk ape.
In a small town in Florida, there were frequent sightings of a giant creature near the woods, which everyone thought was a skunk ape, but no one could say with certainty. A group of friends went into the woods to investigate this matter, and after a long investigation, they finally found what they were looking for. The skunk ape footprints, which were clearly visible there in the mud.
2 right foot imprints in the mud.
They were so clear that it looked like the giant had passed through there recently. They didn't stay long and quickly left the area. For a long time, no one from the town went near the woods, and after a few months, no sightings of it were seen again. Rare creature. A tourist was exploring the woods in Indonesia when he noticed something unusual. At first, he thought it was a monkey, but when he looked closely, he became puzzled. It looked like a monkey, but it wasn't. Its eyes were large, and it was moving quickly. He observed it for a while, but when he couldn't make sense of it, he decided to leave. But I did some research on it for you, and I found out that it was a tarsier. It is a small, nocturnal animal that lives in Southeast Asia. It's known for its large eyes, which help it see well at night. Jurassic monster.
What's up, dude? You got some bug eyes. I didn't mean it. Hit your little head. Good boy.
Now here's something wild. A big animal lover was exploring the swamp when something in the water totally freaked him out. He spotted this huge face peeking above the surface, and it looked ancient, like something straight out of Jurassic Park. It even had massive nostrils, almost like it was breathing in the swamp air. Well, as the guy got a good look, he let out a sigh of relief. It was just a giant turtle, one he would never see up close before. Still, seeing a face like that, definitely unforgettable. Scary creature.
Woi, lagi santai kawan. Pakai.
A man's dog ran off into the woods and never returned, so he decided to search for it alone in the woods at night. He searched for a long time, but then suddenly felt a movement around him. He looked here and there, but nothing was around him. But when he looked up at the tree, what he saw sitting there was hard for him to believe. A creature with scary eyes and horns, making it look like a demon that had come from another world. He was so terrified that he immediately ran away from there.
Pakai. Kawan. Kawan.
Moving swamp.
What the?
So, these not-so-wise guys decide to step right into the swamp, and of course, they make it all kinds of jolty. Right away, they noticed something was off. There was a strange disturbance in the water, and it just kept growing, louder and more intense. It's almost like some monster is pissed off, protecting its territory or something. But these guys, they were just standing there, calm as can be. I mean, what if it's a caiman or worse? But lucky for them, it seems like their guardian angels were working overtime, and they managed to get out without any surprises. Haunted Doll Island. Have you ever heard about the Island of Dolls? It's hidden in the creepy canals of Xochimilco, and trust me, it's like stepping into a real-life nightmare. A group of explorers decided to check it out, even though locals warned them to stay far away. As they arrived, they were greeted by hundreds of dolls hanging from trees, their lifeless eyes staring down. The place felt haunted, like the dolls were watching every move. Locals say these dolls hold trapped spirits from the past, making this mystery even more chilling. But guys, so far, there is no accurate answer. Swamp mystery. A nighttime fishing trip sounds peaceful, right? Well, not for this guy. It turned into something he'll never forget. While he was soaking in the quiet, he suddenly heard a bell ringing. A bell? In the middle of a forest at night? It wasn't some magical Hogwarts moment. It was real and totally confusing. He looked around, trying to figure it out, but nothing made sense. No source. No explanation, just that creepy sound. Honestly, I'm as baffled as he was. What could it have been? Passing ape. At Lettuce Lake Conservation Park, something unbelievable was caught on camera, and it left everyone buzzing with shock. A giant, black, hairy creature was moving through the bushes that was definitely not an ordinary animal. He quickly grabbed his camera and snapped a shot, catching it just as it crossed into view. The explorer was convinced he had just filmed a skunk ape, and honestly, looking at the size and how it moved, I would say he might be onto something. Could this be proof of the legendary swamp creature? Swamp mystery. A tourist was exploring the woods in Colombia, but ended up near a swamp. When he was about to head back, he noticed something unusual there. A giant creature was swimming inside the swamp and moving forward, which frightened him. He quickly recorded a video of it and shared it online, after which people gave different opinions about it. Some believed it was a monster, while others thought it was an elephant swimming there. Weird creature. In swamps, you often find things that have no clear explanation. A group of friends went fishing in the swamp late at night, which was a weird decision. After catching some fish, they caught something that completely puzzled them.
Setahu saya ini benda kutu, Bah. Bukan, Bah. Kutu dia sudah lari tadi.
It was a weird creature that didn't have a proper face and was probably not alive. They thought it might be a being from another world. They released it there and left from that place. What do you think about it? Let me know in the comments. Irish bogs. The peat bogs in Central Ireland have always caught the attention of historians, especially because of the old roads that lead into them, often ending for no clear reason. These mysterious paths are even more interesting because of the strange discoveries of human sacrifices found in the bogs. They are good at preserving things, so they've uncovered well-preserved human remains, some from the Iron Age. Many of these remains show signs of violent events, like strangling, stabbing, or drowning, which suggests they were part of ancient rituals. Some people believe they were used for offering sacrifices to gods or spirits. Other objects, such as weapons and ritual items, have also been found, making the atmosphere even more eerie. Mysterious sinkhole. In Louisiana, a sinkhole swallowed a small grove of trees in a swamp, creating a dramatic and unsettling sight. Emergency workers were on the scene filming when the unexpected event began. As the water swirled, trees slowly began slipping below the surface, eventually being consumed by the massive sinkhole. The cause of it is believed to be a collapse of an underground salt dome cavern that occurred earlier in the month. This event resulted in the creation of a hole that is estimated to be 25 acres wide, causing a serious concern for local residents. 350 residents from the surrounding area were asked to evacuate. Its rapid expansion has left the community in shock, with authorities continuing to monitor the situation closely. Scary hand. Back in 2019, a group of friends in Indonesia made a weird decision to go explore a river by boat late at night. Everything was normal, but then one friend waved his hand in the water, and it felt like someone had pulled his hand down. A little while later, they noticed something unusual in the water and started to fear that a monster might be there. Then, just as they had feared, a creepy hand emerged from the water, reaching out to grab them and pull them down. But luckily, they managed to escape. They realized it was the swamp monster, and I hope they would never make such a mistake again. Tribe Uncontacted. Many believe the Mante people, an ancient uncontacted tribe, disappeared decades ago. But guess what? Some adventurers decided to explore the legends. As they entered deeper into the forest, they came across a hut, and inside, two small figures, sitting calmly but clearly not thrilled about the unexpected guests. Before the group could get closer, the little people made their move swiftly, vanishing into the water and disappearing into the forest's shadows. Could these be the last Mante tribe members? The thought still gives me chills. Benu beast. Now meet another terrifying beast that is known to live in swamps. In the jungle of the Philippines, some brave souls were on the hunt for a giant snake, something straight out of a legend. But instead of the snake, they saw something way weirder, a giant bubble bobbing in the water. They thought it was some massive fish and tried to catch it. But just as they lunged for it, the bubble disappeared. They waited, and soon enough, they managed to reel it in. But when they tried to catch it, it slipped out of their grasp again. And I know what you're thinking. What in the world was this creature? Well, it was no ordinary thing. It was the Benu ghost, a long-haired female spirit from Filipino lore, wriggling and fighting against them. They couldn't capture it and decided to leave, but it's still out there, waiting. Thai monster. A mythical monster came alive in Thailand. It all started when a guy spotted something strange near a swamp, a creature that looked like a snake, but with a hair-like sheath covering it. It was so bizarre that he decided to take it home. His niece, who was curious about what it really was, recorded the creature and uploaded the video online. After a lot of guesses, a snake species coordinator identified it as a puff-faced water snake with algae growing on its scales. So what seemed like a mythical beast turned out to be a fascinating example of symbiosis, or a wild adaptation. World War II discovery. Sometimes you find more than just buried treasure. A YouTuber used to discover items related to World War II with the help of metal detectors. One day, he went deep into the woods, all the way to the swamps, hoping to find a tank. Surprisingly, his guess turned out to be right, and there was a T-34 tank there, still in better condition. He went closer, observed it carefully, and tried to clean it. But he couldn't do it all alone, so he informed the authorities, which I would say was the right decision. World War II plane. You never know what you'll stumble upon in the wilderness. This vlogger was heading to Tofino to camp on Radar Hill.
So I can find my way around the trail to the bomber.
He was fully prepared, and while passing through the deep woods, he explored an abandoned house. But the real twist came when he ventured further ahead.
Encountered some boggy mess right here.
A World War II plane was stuck here in a rough condition. Its body parts were broken and scattered around the area. This was quite shocking because he didn't expect to see anything like this here. He observed it for a while and then headed towards his destination. And now, let us move on to our subscriber pick of the day. Well, guys, I've done some serious digging on the internet, and here's what I found. It's the closest match to our subscribers' pick, and trust me, what I found is pretty wild. Some people in Brittany had an encounter that will leave you speechless.
Apparemment, c'est fait avec de la vase. Ouais, c'est surprenant, mais...
While exploring a swamp, they saw these eerie figures rise from the mud, half human, half plant. At first, they were straight up scary, but the longer they watched, the more they realized these beings weren't charging. They were just observing. And now here's a twist to this encounter, guys. These creatures weren't real. They were actually sculptures called Homo algus, made by a French artist inspired by tales of swamp creatures. I mean, seriously, the details were so perfect that their sad watching faces seemed to say, "You're the ones who've messed up nature, not us." Pretty chilling, but impressive too, don't you think? See you next time.